Hello and welcome to today's video, which is on standard deviation. Now, we're not only looking at standard deviation today, we're actually looking at things like variance, the mean as well, but the most important part is we're doing everything through the Classwiz calculator, which is the main calculator which is used during the A level. So, let's get started. Now, I've got one question here. I'll make this big for you so you can see it and copy it down. So our first question says, a group of 100 adults recorded the amount of time, t in minutes, that they spent exercising each day. The results are summarised in the table below. Calculate an estimate for the standard deviation of these times. Now, I'm just going to cut back. With this, there is a way where you can actually calculate it with all the formulas, and you use something which is called MOSOM, which stands for MOSOM like this. And this stands for the mean of the squares, subtract the square of the mean. So it's this formula here, which is sigma fx squared all over sigma f, subtract sigma fx over sigma f all squared. This is the formula for the variance, okay? But we don't actually need to know that because the calculator works it all out for us. Now, I'm not going to go through today what the standard deviation is or what the variance is or what the mean is. I'm just talking about how to calculate it using the Classwiz. Okay, so this example here has actually done a little bit of a, it has given us a little bit of help because it's actually already given us the midpoints. If you didn't have that midpoints column, you'd be expected to work that out yourself. But here, they've given us that midpoints column. So let's move on to the calculator and I'll show you how to enter it onto here. So here's our calculator. Okay. Now the first thing that you need to do with this calculator is that you need to change the statistics to turn the frequency on. Okay. Now I'll show you how to do that. The first thing you need to do is you press shift here like so and then go to setup. So shift setup. Then we're going to go down. And you'll notice here it says statistics on number 3. I'll just say that again. Shift, setup, down, statistics, which is number 3. Now there's only one option in this, and that's to turn the frequency on or off. Okay? I'm going to turn the frequency on. Okay? So what that means is that when we're actually putting things in our table, we can select the frequency of each one. Okay? The next thing we need to do is to enter all this data. Now you do that by going menu. And we're going to go to 6, which again is statistics. So I'm going to go to statistics. Now, in this one here, we only have one variable, which is the time. Okay? And we're going to use that midpoint as the variable. So I want one variable, which is my top one there. And I'm going to enter all of our values. Now, I'm just going to switch back just so you can see. These are our values. Okay? If you haven't got this down, pause now and get it down because we're going to put these into our calculator. Okay, so let's get them in then. So our first value is our midpoint, which is 7.5. The next one is our 22.5, next midpoint. The next midpoint was 45. Then we've got 90. And then we've got our last midpoint, which is 180. Now notice I've just gone down here for now, and I've left the frequency as 1 for now. I'm going to go back up to the top, and now I'm going to put the frequency. So the frequency for the first one is 25. The frequency for the next one is 17. The frequency for 45 is 28. Frequency for 90 is 24. And the last frequency for 180 midpoint is 6. Once you've done that, we're going to press AC and that stores it in the calculators. And you'll see this now where it says statistics, one variable. So that means I've got my table stored in there. It's got one variable and I've put all the frequencies in. Now, the next part is I need to see all of the data in this. So you do that by pressing this button on the top left, which is called options. So you press options up here and you'll see these 3. So if you've made a mistake in your data, you can change that by pressing 3 and it'll take you back to there. Okay, press AC. But I don't want that. I want to find out in this question what the standard deviation is. So I click on options. I click on the one variable calculations, which is 2. And you'll notice here now, it gives you a list of lots of different things. So it gives you x bar, which is our mean. It gives you the sum of x squared. It gives you the sum of x. Now, you'll notice that the third one down says sigma squared x and sigma. Now the sigma squared is our variance, isn't it? Now I always get a bit, when I first saw this, and when I first looked at the calculator, I thought that meant sigma squared times by x. I'm not sure you can see that, should make sure you can see it. I thought that one there said meant sigma squared times by x, but it doesn't. This just means sigma squared of x. Now I know that sigma squared is my variance, okay? So for this one here, my variance, I'll just go back, is this 1984.63. So that there is my variance. My standard deviation is the one which isn't squared below. So it's the standard deviation of x. It's not sigma times by x, it's the standard deviation of x. So that second one is my standard deviation, which in this case is 44 points. I'm just going to do 0.5. And that there is going to be in minutes. Okay, so I'll just go cut back so you can see. So this one here is our variance, okay, and this one here is our standard deviation, and it works them all out for you. You'll notice if I cut back, we do have our mean in there, which is called x bar, which you could also call mu, which is 50.7. So it works everything out for you. I can also scroll down a little bit, and you'll notice that n is 100, which makes sense because we said there was 100 adults, but it also works out things like the median, your lower quartile, your upper quartile. It's got everything in there for this table, so you don't need to work out any of those. Brilliant. Let's just go back and check that answer then. So let's go back. 44.5, brilliant. Okay, let's look at our next question then. Okay, so let's have a look at this second question here. Now this question was taken from 2018, so it's the new spec. And in this one here, the data is taken from the large data set. So you've got to know a few things about the large data set. Okay, in fact, I'll make it big first so you can see it and get it all copied down. So get that in your notes, pause now and get that down. Okay, so there's a few things to discuss here. The first thing to discuss is that first one there, which says NA. Now, NA stands for not available. Now, if the data is not available, we can't use it. So although there was 13 days there which weren't available, we can't put those into our data because I don't know what the data was on those days. Okay, so the next thing I need to do is to get all of that information from the table into my calculator. So let's switch over to my calculator. Okay, and now I'm going to start exactly the same process. Okay, now I know that you don't need to type in the frequency, turn the frequency on every time, but I'm going to show you again just for one more. So the first thing I do is go Shift Setup, I move down to Statistics, which is 3, and I'm going to turn that frequency on. Brilliant. So the next thing I need to do is then I need to go to my statistics, which is 6. Click on that one there. I've got one variable with loads of different frequencies. So let's put in these here now, starting with 6. So 6, 7, 8, 9, there's no 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 16. Brilliant. Now notice all the frequencies are 1 at the moment, so I need to go back and change all of those, starting with 6. So 6 is 2. 7 is 3, the next one, 8 is 2, 9 is 2, 11 is 3, 12 is 1, press enter on that one to go down, 13 is 2, 14 is 1, and 16 is 2, and that's all entered there. So press AC to store it in the calculator, it will take you to this. Then if I want here, now it's asking for the standard deviation, so I click on options up here, and I'm going to go to one variable calculations, which is 2. It's going to give it all here. So look, at the top we've got here our mean, which is 10.2. We've got the variance of x, remember that's not the variance times x, which is 10.06, but we want the standard deviation with this one. So sigma is equal to 3.17 in this case. So my standard deviation is equal to 3.17. Okay, nice and straightforward. You just got to be able to type it into the calculator. Now, the other bit which we've got in this is, because it's from the large data set, there's always 1 or 2 marks which checks that you've understood and you've used the large data set. And in this case, what they're checking is, do you know what the units of wind speed are? Now, the units of wind speed are knots. So it's 3.17 knots there, like so. And you get a mark for that one as well. Brilliant. Okay, so that's that one done. Let's check that answer. 3.17, and it's knots. Brilliant. So I've got one more question to go through. One more question is asking for the mean and the variance in this one. So I'm going to suggest that you pause now and have a little go at that one yourself. So pause now and have a go at this one yourself. Okay, let's go through it together. So I'm going to start right from the very beginning. I know I don't need to turn the frequency on every time, but I'm going to go through it one more time just to show you how to turn it on. So it's shift setup. Oh, make sure I'm on the calculator. Shift setup, and I'm going to go down to statistic, which is 3, and I'm going to turn that frequency on, there, like so. So now my frequency's on, and then I'm going to enter all this data. So I go to menu, statistics, which is 6 there, and I've got 1 variable. Brilliant. So let's enter all of these now. So it goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There is a greater than 6 there. Okay, but notice with the greater than 6, it's 0. So we don't actually need to enter this one. Okay, so I'm going to start with this one here. So I do need to enter that 0. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Brilliant. And then we're going to go back up. And now 0 appeared 24 times. 1 appeared 37 times. 2 appeared 21 times. 3 appeared 12 times. 4 is 4, and 5 is 2. So I've entered all those now. I press AC to get back to this stage, and then I want to look at these. Now, if I want the mean and the variance, I'll go to Options, 1 variable calculations, which is 2, and it's given us all these here. So you'll notice on here, I'll make it a little bit closer so you can see it, we've got that top one, which is X bar, okay? So with X bar is our mean, okay? So you might want to call this mu as well, X bar, which is equal to mu, which is the same as our mean. And in this case, it's 1.41. So it's so much simpler than working it all out, okay? And it wants actually the variance in this one and not the standard deviation. So your variance in this case is equal to, the variance of X is 1.44. Brilliant. And we've worked both of those out. That's 3 marks. It's an absolute gift if you know how to do it on the calculator. I've seen a lot of people working through and working out the mean and times all together. If you can do this on your calculator, it will save you so much time. And notice it's only a few marks, so you don't want to be spending loads of time on the stats test going through all of these. Okay, so let's just check that answer first of all. 1.41 and 1.44, brilliant. Okay, so thank you for watching this video on standard deviation, variance and mean using the Classwiz calculator. Do make sure you're having a go at these questions, because remember, the only way to learn maths is to do it, and have a lovely day.